Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a final hot take of the evening. This is a little bit of a mixed bag. I wanted it to be a Hollywoke hot take so I could promote Hollywoke, another novel, which is in trade paperback form. Excellent for Christmas. But I really didn't have enough stories, but let me go over them. First is Daily Mail says that 75% of BBC comedy gigs are handed to brazenly left-wing comedians. Wow, that's refreshing because in Hollywood, 100% are handed to brazenly left-wing comedians for the most part. At least the good gigs. You know, you could be as brazen as you want on the road and, down south or whatever. You did have the comedy guys who were, all the Southern guys. What did they call that? The Redneck Tour? I don't know. It was like Jeff Foxworthy, Ron White, Larry the Cable Guy, and I forget the other guy's name. So I just found that funny. And then this weird story: Shia LaBeouf hid STD symptoms apparently from his girlfriend and infected her. So that's not cool if true. Not cool at all. And, kind of weird since Shia LaBeouf is... Wasn't he in that movie Nympho? Right? Which was very sexual. So it's like, how did they hide that? But who knows what he's got? Who knows? I don't want to know. Too much information. What's the other story? I'm going to find it here. Yeah, and I got to be really careful about talking about the election. Can't really talk about it the way I want to talk about it. Thanks, YouTube. I didn't want to have to do an exclusive today because then I feel like I'm shortchanging YouTube, the YouTube fans. Although everybody's going to BitChute, it seems. But lots of stuff on Gab Trends. Oh, here it is. It's time. This is an article from Yahoo News. It's time for Republicans to take back their party from the crazies. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, they're thinking of turning it into more of a Trump party. And then I realized, oh, no, it's the other way around. They're calling all the Trump supporters crazy. And they basically... essentially they're endorsing the neocons. Oh, please go back to the neocons. I mean, that's what they were before Trump, essentially. Bush had wrecked them with his idiotic war, and Cheney. And then they kind of floundered around with Mitt Romney. That's why Democrats loved those Republicans. They were losers. I mean, Mitt Romney couldn't win an election. I don't even know if he was trying. Quite frankly, that quote about corporations are people too was so tone deaf it sounds like he planned it. Controlled opposition. I mean, look, I don't think the Democrats are controlled by the intelligence community, but I certainly think they're advised by the intelligence community. And their advice would be, yeah, you want to have the control, you want to control the opposition as much as possible. A guy like Mitt Romney's perfect. He's Republican enough because of his religion and his background, but he's a Democrat. Really, when you get right down to it, he's mostly a Democrat. And he hates the regular Republicans. He hates the Trump supporters. So it's perfect. It's a perfect situation. They compromise a guy like him. He's like the new John McCain, essentially. John McCain pretended pretty much to be a conservative. Was he? I don't think he was anything. I don't think he was for anything other than John McCain's career. And unfortunately, there's a lot of guys like that in Congress. So, really, it's just yet another story about why we should all hate Trump. And quite frankly, I'm just sick of it. I really hope Trump has a magic thing. I don't know what it could be, but it might be This, oh, did I get the right page? No. Dang it. Where the hell is it? Did I close it? No. Oh, here it is. Again, it goes back to this 2018 executive order. Now, Sidney Powell seems to think that Trump could trigger this order and use it to stay in office. And essentially, what this would do would allow Trump to assert power due to foreign interference in the November 3rd election. Now, that's what it says, YouTube. I'm not saying it's true. Although, it raises an interesting thing, right? Wink, wink. A theory, wink, wink. So, maybe this is the move. She says, under emergency powers, he could even appoint a special prosecutor to look into this, which is exactly what needs to happen, Powell said. Yeah, maybe, kinda, I hope. I don't know. I don't know what to say, YouTube. You've made it so impossible to make a video now. Maybe I should have done this one separately. I guess if it gets banned, I'll have to make it a BitChute exclusive. So yeah, I mean, maybe this is the move Trump's going for. Still going to be messy. Basically, the executive order gives him 45 days after the conclusion of a United States election. So 45 days, that brings him into December 18th. Gives him to December 18th, the end of next week, right? Yeah, because we're coming up on the 13th. So this, maybe this is the week. I know I keep saying that, but it's really not going to be settled until someone is inaugurated. That's the only way I could see it being settled. That someone's inaugurated, and okay, now we know who the president is. Meanwhile, it's such a weird limbo to be in, and right before Christmas and the holidays, and the stock market just keeps going up and up and up. I would have thought the stock market would be in a panic, but maybe they know something we don't. I don't know. They usually do. They're usually the ones that get the first news. So maybe they already know who's president. Maybe they just assume it all goes smoothly. I can't imagine, if Biden's going to be president, that they wouldn't be selling everything off. Because they say with Biden in, the stock market's just going to take a header. But I'm also reading Zero Hedge, which, for those of you who haven't read it, they're pretty much into economics. They got there's a lot of articles with an economic slant, and they're saying that, although they call for this kind of thing constantly, but they're saying 2021 will be a bad year either way you slice it in terms of the economy. Just so many businesses have been destroyed in this, and whether or not the Democrats just continue to step on people's necks, and that's what they're doing, economically speaking, has yet to be seen. I mean, they're really going for this. Here in New Jersey, there's still a gym, Atlas Gym. I keep calling it Atlas because I want to call it Atlas Gym, and I know it's not that. Atlas Gym, and those guys are risking fines and everything. I wish more businesses had supported them and just opened up and ignored the rule, but people are afraid. They're afraid of getting arrested. They're afraid of losing their money. But, nothing's more dangerous than someone who has nothing to lose. And apparently these Democrats have forgotten that. They think they can just push people around endlessly. It's going to come to a head at some point when people can't feed themselves, when they're out of work, when they're broken, and they figure, F it. I might as well go out in a blaze of glory. That's when you're going to see some stuff. That's when you're going to have really bad situations. We had in this country, it seemed to me, although it may have just been a orchestration of the news, we were having workplace shootings, one after another. Workplace shooting. People going postal. The term, going postal, because it was half the time it was like a mailman losing it. I don't know why that hasn't happened again with all the pressure on people. I gotta think maybe the money that they gave in the previous stimulus is hanging on, keeping people hanging on. Because it was kind of a lot of money, but at some point it's going to run out. At some point, people are going to get very, very desperate. And you look at Antifa, and as much as I hate Antifa and I think they're stupid and dumb, mostly because they're communist, when they've gone to bat for these people in the Red House, and there's something to be said for protecting people who are losing their home, although now I'm hearing those same people have a second home, so I'm not sure of the situation there. But still, this was something that drove Occupy Wall Street, people losing their homes. Once you kick people out on the street and the bank says, oh, well, it's not our fault, we're boarding up the place and get the hell out, and you do that over and over again, and you just leave empty cities full of homeless people, that ain't going to be good. It's not going to be good. And anybody who feeds those people and gives them purpose is going to run the show. And it's kind of what happened in a little country called Germany. So, you don't want that to happen, Democrats. Arrogant Democrats. Will this work? I don't know. Could. Maybe. I don't know. So far, nobody's listening to Sydney or any of the cases that are being brought before the courts. I would hope that the next case could do something when they retool the Texas case, but I don't know. I just don't know at this point. I had a lot of guesses before based on experience from previous years and previous administrations, but we are not going back to normal. No matter what happens, I don't know where we're going, but we're going someplace weird and new. It's exciting, but it's also scary. So, all I can say is, hang on. Keep your chin up. Try to be positive, and stock up on some supplies, because either way, you might need them.